Hello everyone, this is Charlotte and this is a podcast called Chatting in Cars. It's where I talk about random topics while I try not to run over people trying to move things, apparently. Someone's moving in, I think. There is a disclaimer at this podcast because I do swear about things. I do talk about things that are not sticking to one topic, and I do tend to meander through a lot of different topics. Some cycle through again, which is also fucking annoying. So if you don't want to hear me swearing, now's your chance to turn it off. Hopefully I'll be a bit more relaxed, although my stutter's still here. More relaxed today because it's the weekend and I can just relax and just chat. The topic for today is disappointment. Everybody faces disappointment. As an autistic, I have trouble grasping the feeling associated with disappointment, which I've noted before. Same as anything like guilt, really, or shame. Makes life more interesting, though. So, don't you feel ashamed? No. You're a dork. I am. And I don't care. But you know, like, disappointment happens for everyone, I think. I'm pretty sure no one's actually ever escaped anything like that. I'm trying to liken it to... See, I have to liken things to experiences involving usually like food or cake or something to understand and grasp what it is. When it comes to understanding those deep inner feelings, disappointment is... How can I put this as an analogy? Disappointment is buying a wonderful cake. And it's always a cake. Leaving it in the fridge or wherever you leave it where it's safe. And then your housemate eats it without your knowing. And then you get home and you're thinking, oh, this wonderful cake. And then you get there and it's gone. That's the safest thing I can associate with disappointment. And I've gained that understanding of what disappointment is by that analogy, but associating it with other things that have happened in my life in order to identify what that should feel like. If that makes sense. Like, nobody sits down and explains what disappointment's meant to feel like. You're like, well, I feel bad. How can I liken that to something I've already felt bad about? Cake. Someone ate my cake. You bastard. But, you know, you gotta have these references, otherwise it gets a bit confusing. Yeah, so, you know, everybody suffered from disappointment at one point in their life. One time you might be thinking, I'm gonna get something really nice, or I'm gonna do something really nice, and then somebody like cancels on you, or you know, somebody's eating your food before you get a chance to get to it, which is annoying, especially if you've got housemates who just do not respect the laws of housematery. I've had those before. They're assholes. You don't get that often. Best thing to do is move out and get your own shit. Oh, don't throw the puppy in the road. There's a husky. But you know, we work through it. It's only a temporary problem, really, isn't it? Because generally, you know, either it solves itself, or you can solve it, or you can fix it, so you don't have to be feeling disappointed about the same situation again. It's what you should be aiming for, is to solve the problem. For example, I've seen people where they get annoyed that their friend has eaten their food, so they either hide it, or they put a lock on their fridge, or something like that. You know, people in the workplace where somebody's using their milk or something like that, they'll put like one of those little lock things on the cap of the milk. I've seen a lot of weird little inventions that people use on Instagram and stuff like that, which is interesting. I go looking for the weird hacks. So it's interesting to find these people using their brain and trying to avoid disappointment again. So, you know, it's avoidable. If you're facing disappointment in life, maybe we need to assess what's going on in your life that's not giving you fulfillment at this point, and whether it's worth participating in. If you're disappointed in yourself, maybe you need to take accountability for what actions you did and what part you played in whatever is causing this disappointment. Bearing in mind it's changeable as well, as long as you're willing to change. It's not something anyone gets stuck with. Everything is impermanence, right? If you're looking at Buddhist philosophy. Or is it Taoist? I think it's Buddhist. But you know, you can't get stuck in a mindset that things can't change and I have to just sit with this. And so I'm just going to live in a sense of disappointment and regret my entire existence. It's changeable. You can change it. If you're disappointed in yourself, change the bits that you want to change. You know, it's like I'm disappointed. And then people sit and fixate on this emotion. It's like, don't be sad. Go and buy another cake. Okay? If you don't want cake, change your mind and buy something else. I don't know. Maybe I've oversimplified this analogy. Yeah, no, I really like cake now. One time I found a rainbow cake and I was totally stoked. It's like, oh my god, it's got layers. I gotta find that again, but I don't think they serve it anymore, because I went back and it's just like all normal ones. I'm like, oh shit, I want the weird stuff. Give me the weird stuff. I like the weird stuff. You should see me when I go and buy ice creams and stuff. You go to like Baskin Robbins or something, he's like, I want the weirdest shit you've got. If I'm spending money, I want an anomaly I can't get at home. Find me something weird. It's usually like blue with sprinkles and glitter and shit like that. I'm like, yes, I feel like I've done something here. Never a disappointment when it comes to things like ice cream and stuff. Although sometimes you have like horrible desserts that are a disappointment. You're like, I put investment. Oh, like all those, you know how you get like Reese's Pieces ice cream in a tub? And you're sitting there thinking, oh my god, it's going to be like Reese's Pieces egg cup. And then you eat it and it's nothing like the fucking product. And you're like, you bastards. That's how I feel disappointment. It's never anything particularly huge or serious. I mean, that's because I've pretty much set in the mindset that I'm an optimist / realist. I'm sort of gauging in between depending on the context and scenario. I don't actually go into the pessimism of the situation, so I fixate on the shit bits of life. I do cycle through topics where I'm trying to understand it. So if I'm talking repeatedly about one particular scenario, like maybe a divorce or a broken relationship or some shit like that, it's because I'm still trying to figure out the components of it. I'm trying to understand why it happened, and that's like an ongoing theme. But I'm not actually sitting in a situation where I'm like fixated on it because I'm disappointed about what happened or anything like that. I'm just trying to understand the why of the situation, mainly. My disappointments come from interacting with people, mainly, or food, where mainly food. I am a Taurus. It's mainly food. With people, I never trust people anyway. Where you've hoped that they're better than they are, and then they've shown themselves to not be as good as you thought they were. But at the same time, I also have a habit of putting people on pedestals, which is absolutely, possibly a toxic trait, or it's like overly optimistic. So I'll sit there and I'll think, oh, this person's the most wonderful person in the world. I can see a life with them, I can see a future with them, and stuff like that. And you're sitting there making this fairy tale, because you know there's two types of romantics. There's the positive fairy tale romantic, and then there's the tragic romantic that everyone dies at the end, and it's like a Japanese haiku. You know, it's like everything's just dead, destruction, but it's still romantic. And I'm like, I'm not that one. I'm the fairy tale happily ever after one. But you put these people on this pedestal hoping for this amazing romantic scenario, and then they turn out to be an absolute waste of your fucking time. And you're like, I feel moderately disappointed if that's what we're attributing this feeling to being. And now I also am concerned for my cakes. Who's near my cake? Because I don't want a double disappointment here. But, you know, it's strange. I have trouble with the in-depth emotions of, you know, like when they said I had depression. It's like, you got depression. I'm like, how do you know? It's like, because I'm like this. I'm not any real different. I might get a bit more tired, seemingly. Oh, that's bright. But generally, I'm not much different from this. But I went into my doctor and she said, you're depressed because, you know, you're crying all the time and you can't sleep and stuff like that, and you're depressed. I'm sitting there going, So I have trouble identifying the in-depth, stronger emotions. I know they're there, I just have trouble labeling them. I mistake a lot of things for other things, which is also, it's like you're getting your wires crossed as well. You can mistake obsession for love, for example. That's a horrible way to do it, because you get stuck on this person who's possibly not good for you at all, but you're obsessed with them and you want to know everything about them and where they're coming from and what they're doing and how can you be with them all the time. When we mistake this for love and in a romanticist sense, it's like, this person is my be-all end-all, I'm going to put them on a pedestal and they're going to be the one that makes my life absolutely beautiful and perfect. and then you meet them and you date with them and then you live with them and you're like, oh fuck, I was wrong. So, oh no, I was so wrong. So luckily, you know, if you ever get obsessed with someone, there is always going to be something that sort of breaks that mirage or illusion that you put them on a pedestal. It's like, usually it's interacting with them more and getting clarity on the situation before you commit wholeheartedly into the, you know, I have trouble with boundaries, so I have trouble like not putting them on pedestals and just giving them whatever, so it's bad. It's naughty. I gotta look into that more. I gotta find out a way to regulate myself more that way, where I step back a bit before I just jump in, throw myself in. That's one of my flaws. Too eager to jump in and let's go. You know, it's like, no, hang on. Let's go. It's gonna be fine. It's not gonna be fine. Oh shit. And that's how you get stuck with the fuckers. So that's one of my things I need to work on, because then I disappoint myself as well when I looked at the way I've reacted to a certain scenario and I got too invested in it too soon, and it turns out to be some tragic, it was never meant to happen scenario. It's like, I can't believe you did that. And the universe is like, I can't believe you did that again. Guardian angel's like, just leave it to it. She's fine. She'll be fine. Give her a couple of months, years. She'll be fine. It's like, okay, I get it. Yeah, you know, it's terrible, isn't it? You get so invested in people, and you're like, strange thing is, I'll probably do it again. Actually, I'm terrible. But I love love, man. I want to get involved and I want to do it all. It's like the best thing. See, that's one of those in-depth emotions that I can feel, and I do feel. And that's probably why I hang on to it so much, because it's one of the few ones I do identify well. I jump in and I can feel that one. Whereas things like disappointment and anger, I got love and I got anger. But disappointment is like one of those weird grey areas where I can't really, and guilt, where I can't really figure out what I'm supposed to feel. Oh, hang on. What is it? It is, oh, it's a cup of something boring. Next. Oh, hello. Oh, can you hear it? That was a nice one. First one was a ninja. It's not that great. It's cute and fast and you can get places, but it's not that great. I like the big boys. Sorry, I'm talking about bikes again, and you're like, what the fuck is she talking about? Oh. Yeah. That one's in the middle one. I don't even know what that one is. Get to the point, woman. Okay. But, you know, it's like, really like that second. No, alright, no. I'm not talking about bikes anymore. Your hyper focus is kicking in again, isn't it? Yeah. I'm gonna have like a giant library of motorbikes or something. One that I can never ride because of, you know, my fucking panic attacks and shit, but I'll just collect them. That'd be great. It's like, they're amazing, they're wonderful. Can you get on them? No, because I have near enough a nervous breakdown. Oh well. I need to find someone that rides motorboats. I need you to take my bikes out so that the engines don't fuck up. I need you to wear them in. That's a long-term goal. Anyway, so what was I talking about? Sorry, it's the weekend. My brain's fried and I've had a shit ton of coffee. Disappointment. It's like, yeah, it's no problem with having disappointment because it's all a learning experience, isn't it? It's, even if you feel shit for a brief moment, things change. You can absolutely change your circumstances. You don't have to sit in that horrible grey, dark energy. And at least you got clarity on the situation, because whatever disappointed you, you now know what the problem is and you can change it. If you go back and relive the same disappointment because you've given maybe another person another chance where you kind of knew that they weren't going to do any good by it, or, you know, you've sat in a situation where it's employment, or you're keeping around people like friends that are known to be disappointing, like you can't rely on them or something like that, that is that's on you, isn't it, really? You know, you can't blame someone else for, you know, you making your decisions as an adult, a supposedly autonomous adult. You you then, you know, let these people disappoint you over and over again. This is obviously a cycle that you need to break, to recognize, to break. Maybe there's some kind of unhealed thing in you, like me. There's a lot of unhealed things in me. I'm not escaping these cycles. I'm looking at them now, because I wasn't before. There's maybe some unhealed aspects of your inner psyche or condition that's not quite developed enough to deal with, say, sticking up for yourself in order to stop people disappointing you. Like for example, the couch analogy. I've been fiddled around so much with this fucking picking up this fucking couch lately. With my brother, because he's so overloaded by, you know, work and kids and his wife, and he's the only one amongst us who's got like a big enough car to go pick this fucking thing up. And I thought, and I rarely ask for help because I don't like doing it. I don't like asking anyone for help. I thought I could rely on him to come get this one couch, because I've never asked for him anything, and I'm always doing favors. So I thought, okay, so, you know, now I need a favor. But I was disappointed, dare I say it, because his schedule was so full with everything, and I don't blame him because he's got everything on the ball, and he will help if he can. He's one of those guys who will help if he can. He can't exactly drop everything like I can and just go. He's got kids and work all the time and stuff like that. But I was like, can you come pick it up with me Saturday? He's like, I can't. I'm helping someone else. He was helping one of his mates. I think they were cleaning up a farm or something like that, and they were doing a bonfire. And I said, okay, can you pick it up on Monday with me? Just like, can't do it, I got a staff meeting. He's like, there was always some excuse. So I was getting more and more frustrated and angry that this one time I actually asked for help, that no one, like, he wouldn't help me. He did say yes, but he's like, can you postpone a couple of weeks? I'm going, no, it's sitting in a warehouse right now. We need to go get it. And I was contemplating just, you know, like getting them to deliver it, because it's just less hassle. In future, I will do that, because obviously my lesson is that I can't rely on people as much as I thought I could, even when it's just a one-off. But that's been an ongoing life thing. I don't know why I thought anything different lately. I thought, oh, you know what it was? Because he said, if you need help going and get something, because he knew I bought an apartment and I need to put furniture in it. He said, if you want help, I'll come with you. Like, I was going to do an IKEA run. Sorry, my stutter's kicking in. And he's like, I'll go up with you and we'll use the trailer. Because he's got like a Navara thingy, even though I hate him. But I learned from that. I'm sitting there going, okay, so in future I'm just not going to ask you for help. That's probably not the healthiest way to deal with it, but looking at it logically, he is very overloaded with his life and situation. So I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to try and find a way around it. And it's a learning experience for me. And like, ultimately, if I really wanted to save the problem, I'd go out and buy a fucking Navara or whatever it is. But how often would I use it? You know, that's the thing. It's a big ute sort of thing. He uses it because he's got... Actually, I don't know why he uses it, because he lives in suburbia. But I was disappointed in the situation because, you know, it was the one time that I needed help and I couldn't get it. Otherwise, usually I tend to fend for myself. Which was a bit of a bitch, but, you know, we learn from it. Help is available if you ask, but at the same time you need to take into account other factors, like is the person able to give help, or are they a bit backed into a corner with trying to do everything else? I mean, he's not the guy to turn around and say absolutely no. He wants to help. He's not like my dad that will give that fake yes and then not back it up. So it's like, you got to pick your people, I guess. And it clearly seems that I am the more reliable one. So I'll just figure it out myself. But, you know, it swings and roundabouts. It's a learning experience. Don't let it taint my view of what he is, because I know he's busy. It's not his fault, really. He tried to help, and he is coming to go. What we did is he's going to go pick it up himself. He's going to get the last couple of sessions of his work off, because he's a teacher as well. And he's going to go pick it up for me and meet me at my house, and then it will be done. And it's like, it's just the fiddling around that annoyed me the most. It's like, I like a clear, concise plan. It's like, this, let me just check with so-and-so and do this, and that gives me the shits. I'm like, no, this is the plan, we go with the plan. Stop fucking around, here's the plan, we do this. And so I've got to learn that as well. It's like not everybody has that clear, concise, we're going to move this way and do this plan kind of approach to getting things done. Some people are a bit more scattered. Some people like to be a bit more open with how they get things done. It's like I'm sitting there going, this is the logical sequence of events, let's go and do this. It's like, no, we got to factor in other things, and this is going to change, and then suddenly this popped up, and it's like, oh. So I've got to learn to mediate my disappointment and my interaction with these things, and understand that everybody's different, and things turn, everything happens. Sometimes you don't get a choice, and sometimes you just got to adapt, and adaptability is a very good skill set. I know that was a bit of a waffle, but it's true. So anyway, you can always find a lesson in everything you do. You can go, even if shit goes tits up. If he absolutely said, no, I can't because I'm that busy, and I have to pick this up by next Wednesday, I think is the end date. It's been sitting there for about a week now. I could still probably go in there and say, look, I can't pick it up, look at the car. Can you get me to do a delivery? Pay a bit extra and get it done. It's not the be all end all. It's not the end of the world when shit goes wrong or shit needs to be adapted. It's a learning curve. You just got to pick up the slack and keep moving. It's not a problem. And it's the same when people disappoint you as well. It's like, it's not the end of the world. My ex-husband, for example, was a disappointment. Not the end of the world. Cut off the source of the problem. Keep moving. Step over it and keep going. Pick up your long pretty dresses and keep going. It's like, fuck you. Don't let it get to you that bad. I mean, you're going to put into context the situation in the large scope of things. If you're going to live to be 80, this glitch on your path right now is not a horrible situation as much as you think it is. Put it into perspective. It's a bad time for a bit of a time, and then more comes afterwards. There's a lot more on the continuum if you keep traveling. You just can't see it, and so you feel a bit hopeless in the now. Change comes inevitably, and so does time. Keep moving, you'll see what happens next. You ever get those people that sit in the cinemas and they're like, what's going to happen next? Or who is that person? They're sitting there talking through the whole fucking movie. Like, watch them find out. That's what it feels like with disappointment in life at this point. I'm going, just wait. Just watch and find out. You'll see. Sometimes you get a glimpse into the future. I'm a bit lucky that way. I can do the cards and have a look and see what's going on. And you trip the ether for a bit, and it's quite fun. Not doing drugs though, that's stupid. Don't ever do drugs. That's the thing, it's like people do drugs trying to understand the ether a bit more. It's like, I went and did psychedelics, and it's like, that was dumb. Your body's not equipped to deal with that. Hence the reason it killed so many of you before then. So, yeah, but it's safe now. It's like, it's not. It's never safe. It's never safe. Stop. It's too much. Getting poisoned should be a clear red sign, red flag that you're not supposed to be taking this. But yeah, people are a bit odd that way. I don't condone drugs. They are a disappointment to me, people who take drugs. Should I say that? Because that's the thing, it's like we're supposed to be compassionate towards people that get addicted to drugs, and at the same time it's like you made an active decision to take a substance known to be poisonous to the vessel, and then you expect there to be no results, but we need to feel sorry for you when shit goes wrong. It's like but you made the decision to do it. You knew there would be a consequence, but you did it anyway, and now we have to feel bad. It's a shame. What did I say? It's a tragedy. It's not a tragedy, it's an inevitability. You chose to do that. That's the consequence. This is what happened. I don't get it. It's like I punched myself in the face and it hurt. Feel bad for me. It's like I'm sorry, I don't. Stuck a fork in an electric socket and I got shocked, so I don't know what to do. My life's falling apart. I'm not taking this seriously. No, I'm not. I should. I need to take it more seriously. Sorry. It's a bit heartless. Is it a bit heartless, or is it just understanding consequence a bit clearer? I'm a heartless bitch. Am I? Or do I understand consequence in a sequence of events that nobody seems to want to acknowledge or understand? And when the bad shit happens and everybody predicted it, but no one wanted to admit that it would happen, you get upset because of reality. It's like, you live in the land of make-believe. Nothing bad can go wrong here. Oh my god. There was a woman recently as well who took a tablet. It was meant to be some kind of party drug. It was a tablet, but it was like 100% pure fentanyl. And I lost it. I'm going, oh my god, it's a one-hit kill. And they're just running around in the populations. Like, why would you risk taking drugs if you knew that was somewhere in the population? Isn't this meant to kick in your survival mode? This could happen. Why are you even approaching it? So there's a party drug. This is safe. It's like a one hit. It was literally a double tap in a capsule. It's like, why would you do it? Nothing can go wrong. Oh my god. This is what I mean by common sense goes out the window. People just don't. It bugs me. Again, consequence. Rules. There are rules. Basically for your survival and welfare. People disappoint me. Is that disappointment? I guess so. Because you think that they should know better, but they don't want to do better. But they want to keep doing the dumb shit, knowing there's a consequence that's going to negatively, adversely affect them. And they do it anyway. And you're sitting there thinking... And this is where we get the saying, like, they're going to learn by doing. It's like, you won't know, and you won't be told, so you've got to learn through doing, and it's going to be horrible. And it's going to be disappointing to anyone who offered the free advice that shows you that you shouldn't be doing the wrong thing. And that's the saddest part about it as well. You know, as a light worker, you're like, I just want to help people. I want to get things clean, I want to get things up and running, and get the system good and efficient, essentially. When you're talking about, you know, ether and esoteric forms and things like that of treatment for, you know, fucked up energies. But then you get some arsehole. It's like, I would liken it to being a doctor, although I'm nowhere near that skill set. Those guys are amazing. Where you're trying to medicate someone who is gravely ill, but they won't take the fucking medication, and your entire existence and training at this point was to help people and to get them clean and to heal them. and these fuckers won't take their meds. And you're like, take no fucking meds. That's what it feels like. And that's when you get disappointment. I think that's what it's like. Of course, they've got it on a 3D basis, so it feels more intense, whereas, you know, energetically speaking, you exist in the 5D. And it's a lot, there's a lot more backing you up. If tits go, you know, tits up, shit goes tits up. If something goes wrong, you know, in the ether, it's not really anyone who's the light worker that's going to give the consequence. It's going to be the universe herself steps in and says, motherfucker. So, you know, the ultimate mother figure. Do you remember your mum? You pissed off your mum, what are you going to do? Run? You can't run, she's after you, boy. I find that funny. Because that's when you learn the best ways that the disappointment shouldn't be affecting you, really, when someone else cocks up. So it always gets sorted. Someone's got to learn, both of us got to learn. If I give free advice and they don't listen and shit goes wrong in their life, don't be sad. You warn them. Be like the Lorax. Be like the Lorax. I speak for the trees, except be a light worker. I speak for the ether. Hurt my trees and I'll break your knees. No, something like that. I don't know. I'm having a funny half hour. It's Saturday. I'm happy with the freedom I've just escaped from the workplace. It's going to be weird shit from here on out. But you don't get disappointed and hung up on people that don't want to take your advice, don't want to listen. You've got to take a step back, and they want to learn their own lessons, don't they? They want to understand, maybe through doing and maybe through receiving any kind of negative consequence for being a dickhead. That's what you got to do. Don't get upset, darling. You warned them. You tried your best. You really did try and help. And if they saw you as like some overbearing person, or someone doesn't know what they're talking about, even though you've lived it, don't take it personally. Let them do their thing, and if they survive, they survive, and if they don't, they don't. That's the problem. Most people who are like light workers want to help. We want to see people succeed. We want to fix things. We are fixers. But some people don't want help fixing things. Can you come over, mate? Because I need to change lanes. Yeah, he's taking his time. Ooh, here we go. Okay. And then you get upset when no one wants help. Now that, ooh, that was scary. So that could be like the autistic in me wanting to follow rules. It could be a trauma response where I know the consequence and I'm trying to help people avoid pain. It could be just annoyed. It could be my ego. I'm maybe egotistical and a little bit arrogant because people won't listen to me. Maybe I've got small man syndrome. Why won't you listen to me? I don't know. It's a whole mix of weird things in the human psyche that create these problems where people get upset and disappointed because nobody's listening or doing the right thing or following the rules. And we're all taught these rules. So why aren't we follow them? Why aren't people indicating when they merge? Why aren't people, doing a zip when they merge? Why aren't people, why are people speeding past doing 20 over? It's like we're all taught the rules, but people choose to ignore them, and that the consequence is maybe they have an accident, or in this point, an inevitability. So don't get upset. Try and think clearly about the situation. Some people don't want to know, and that's their ego and arrogance kicking in. You warn them. Let it go. Should we sing the song? I love that song too. People got to learn by doing. At the same time, the only thing we can really control is ourselves. There's no way in hell you could control another person without their consent. Should they not choose to do the right thing, what you deem to be the right thing, critically thinking, then it's on them. You tried. How many times do we try and teach our kids? If you're anything like me, I'm a teacher. We try and teach our kids to do the right thing and look after each other and be respectful and stuff like that in order to create a coercive environment for learning, in our particular instance, or at least interacting with each other so no one's picking fights and stuff like that. But there's always some asshole that thinks they're better than everyone else, be it a kid or an adult, and they stand up and they say, fuck everyone else, I'm doing me. And that's when the disappointment of this is not helping anyone or a situation. Sorry, it's a bit noisy right now. It'll pass in about 2 minutes. There is, you just got to let them go, and at some point they're going to face the consequences of their actions, their decisions, and what they chose to do and be and say. I know the consequences of my actions are a bit horrible to some people because they can't handle what I'm saying, maybe, or how I'm saying it, or and they might just unclick and unfollow it or whatever, and I have to be okay with that because I'm not going to make them stay. I'm not going to make them see things my way. To be honest, all these discussions are just shower thoughts. They're just ideas I'm throwing up for discussion. It's an idea, chuck it in, see what happens. It's a boiling pot of cognitive, not dissonance. It's just a boiling pot for discussion. I just wanted to see if anyone's thinking maybe the same way or differently, because things need to be discussed. I don't know if my parents are ever going to see this and turn around and say, we're disappointed in you. It's like, at this point, I'm nearly 40 and I don't want their approval. So I stopped wanting their approval at about 20, I think. Because I just don't. It's like I tried, but. So you gotta deal with the parameters of it. Don't get tied up too much in the result of the situation. If no one listens, let them. Let them deal with their own shit. But bearing in mind, you're not there to save them when shit goes wrong. You were there as a preventative, not a treatment. You were there to warn them, this could happen. I've done this. I know what I'm talking about. If it goes wrong, and if they don't take your advice on, or at least consider it, I mean, it's a sign of intelligence to be able to consider differing viewpoints without actually accepting them. That's a known quote. I can't remember who says it, but, you should be able to consider other people's ideas, even if they don't reflect your own, because it's possible. It could happen, it could not happen. If they've chosen to completely blank you out and they've chosen their decision in life and which way they want to go and it fucks up, then it's on them. That is their karmic load to take on. All of our decisions are our own karmic load. Now it could be a karmic debt, it could be a karmic bonus. You could say, I'm going to take drugs, and that's my gamble in life, and if it works, it works, if it doesn't, it doesn't. The karmic debt could be spiraling into absolute shit. Oh, look, puppies. Oh, I'm getting a puppy soon. I don't know which one though. That's a secret, don't tell anyone. I need help. What kind of help? Psych help? No, I've done that. Sometimes it works. The other thing is, if you've decided to work really, really hard and put in the effort and the energy, and you've made the money, and now you're buying a house, for example, that's your karmic load there as well. You've done what is supposedly the right thing. Now you get the reward of a house. It's all about choices as well. People are choosing to make their own decisions. It's not like you're controlling them into doing it, or you shouldn't be. I know you get like manipulative partners. Like I was in a horrible marriage where there was a lot of coercion, and my ex-boyfriend wasn't much better either. So we can get convinced to do things, which is not healthy at all. And it comes across as a bit shit, and you have to deal with the consequences. But at the same time, we need to be recognizing our part we played in that scenario, and no one's got a lack of accountability. No one's got the right to a lack of accountability, besides possibly children. And that's because kids are seen as innocents, whereas adults, you've passed the age of what do they call it? The age of reasoning. You've passed the age of reasoning. You should know what's good for you at this point, and if you don't, you should fucking do some research. Go look for what's good for you. So when someone decides to fuck up their life, that is on them. You might have gone through a series of fucked up scenarios in your life. Yes, you'll be conditioned by them, but you also have free will and a choice to decide whether you're going to let this shit carry on, and disappoint yourself in the long term, maybe others, or whether you're going to change it and actually do some good with it, and maybe use these experiences as a learning tool to help other people, whether they choose to listen or not. I'm going to have to leave it there. I hope you have a fantastic Saturday. Oh, an email. Someone likes me. Piss off. I hope you have a fantastic Saturday and take it easy. I'm going to go buy some more house stuff for my new house. I'm excited. Take it easy, and I'll do another podcast hopefully Thursday, I think Thursday. Okay.